Marlene Wagner is a great gardener who works with everything from shrubs to perennials to lots and lots of edibles in her landscape. And she has just done this amazing job of converting a huge amount of turf into something that is really a little bit more useful for what she loves to do. So Marlene, why in the world did you decide to take what looked like it was fairly easy to manage and do these great circular beds, and more importantly, or more interestingly to our viewers, the raised beds that you have lots of vegetables in?
Well, we were going to redo our sprinkler system, and it seemed like a great time to change the beds like I'd wanted. And I had a small space that I was using for vegetable gardens, but it wasn't enough. I couldn't raise enough in it to make it worth my effort, I guess. As long as we were going to do that, I knew I wanted more vegetable garden, and so I decided to do raised beds. The length of the yard is where the sun is, and so it gave me a place to plant vegetables because I knew it needed to be in full sun. And I'd been looking for raised beds, and these that I found were perfect for that. They were 3 by 12, and I could fit them out linearly, and it gave me a lot more space than I had. I thought about starting things earlier in the spring, and I knew that in raised beds the soil warms quicker. I can work the beds easier. I can sit on the edge and reach in and do the gardening from the side as opposed to standing on it and compacting it. Weeding it is easier.
Marlene, you talked a little bit about early season produce that you got to harvest and then start some other things. What sorts of interesting vegetables have you already grown, or what's in there now that our viewers might be interested in?
Well, I planted Swiss chard. My husband loves to cook, and we discovered Swiss chard several years ago, and it's not always easy to find in the grocery store, and so it's fun to be able to go out in the garden and pick it and take it in, and he cooks it for a meal that evening. I've got some pimento pepper growing that I'm excited about. I had bought some of that at the farmer's market several years ago and really enjoyed that. Just being able to plant different things that I didn't have room for in my other little garden.
Marlene, I noticed some interesting things like twiggage and slug bait saucers. Are there particular reasons you did that, and are there other things that you've done that our viewers might be interested in?
Well, I used cages for my tomatoes, and I will also use it for my cucumbers so I can get them to grow up vertically. The tomato cages are made out of reinforcement mesh that my husband put together for me for several years. They're reusable, easy to put on, and I just anchor them in. I'm also making my own dirt, which is really fun, crazy as it is as a gardener, but I like to, we use the vegetable peelings and coffee grounds and leaves and grass clippings, and I have tumblers that I have bought that I can't make a lot, but I can make enough to put on my vegetable gardens in the fall.
Thanks, Marlene, for sharing all your wonderful gardening expertise in your raised beds with us, and we are really looking forward to eating the produce and hearing about it from you as well.
You're welcome.